Okay, so I decided a name for my title for my uh, talks, I guess, is going to be Instincts and Intuitions with Kelly Hart. And it's pretty vague, so it leaves it pretty open. I can just say whatever comes to my mind, whatever I'm thinking about. And especially while I'm being censored off Twitter and I can't even go on there, you have that, no outlet. Been in quarantine now for 8 months, I think. Cut off from my family and such limited interaction with human beings at all. Hi to the neighbor or whatever. But yeah, it's almost a year. It's so crazy. And then when you don't even have all the channels that I used to watch, they're all gone. And all the chat groups, they all got taken down. All of everything. And then as soon as you say something on Twitter that they don't like, you're taken down. It's pretty crazy. It's really funny is because I was a Democrat for my whole life, and I always voted party line. I just was like, well, we've got to have this work right. We've got to be for the people. Republicans are just a bunch of crazy, lunatic, religious people who, they aren't the working people. They own the businesses and stuff, and they don't care about us, the working people. The Democrats are the working people. That's how I always had it in my head. And when I didn't like Trump, obviously, there wasn't, I don't know a Democrat who did, but all the stuff that was so vilified, and I would go on and I would say mean stuff to him every day. Every time he did something or said something, I'd go on Twitter just so I could tell him what an asshole he was. And then I mean, you can go on there, you could threaten his life, you could hunt him down, you can threaten him all day long on Twitter. But if you say anything to like Acosta or politicians, that when you catch them right in a lie, blatant lie, you catch them right in it, and you call them out, you got to be real careful. I used one of Twitter's own GIFs, and then they said that it was a threatening GIF, and then not only did they suspend me and tell me that I was threatening, so Secret Service showed up at my house, found me. I mean, I'm not anonymous in my social media. I'm my own self, but still, you don't put your address and stuff on there. I mean, is it from the tracking? Like what are all the links that they have to us, and how they can track us and find us so easy. It's really creepy. I got one of those stupid pet cams, so when I would leave, I could watch my dogs, and I could just be sitting in the house and doing nothing, no movement or anything, and that thing starts turning and watching you. And then my Hey Google thing starts talking to the TV. Sometimes it seems like this
Thanks is an American sitcom that aired from August 2nd to September 6th, 1999, and starred Kirsten Nelson, Cloris Leachman, and Erica Christensen.
He picks up on what he wants to pick up on. He listens to movies. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of creepy. People are scared of ghosts, but let's let all these people who sit behind cameras doing who knows what spy on us in our houses and know what we do and know what we buy, know where we go, find us. It's creepy. And I'm sure I'll do a few videos about that, because, I mean, I feel like I'm to the point to where I fit that stereotypical of when I was younger, and they made like, there was you, the crazy person who wants to live off out in the mountains away from government. They don't trust the government. They put tinfoil all over the house to reflect the rays coming in from the satellites, all this stuff. And now I'm like, oh my God, those guys weren't crazy. They just told us they were crazy, but they're doing all that stuff. It's crazy. Oh, first time when somebody told me about the chemtrails, they said, they asked me to ask my cousin, because he is a scientist or something. They'd seen, it was when I was on Facebook, before my Facebook was hacked, and Facebook didn't give a shit when it's hacked. And then they go in and start asking all your friends to give them money. And you think you can't get back in your account at all, ever. So anyways, she had seen my cousin or something on Facebook looking through my friends. I don't know, people get bored, I guess. And so she'd said, will you ask him about this? And so I was like, I never heard anything about it. I mean, I see those things up there, but I just never put it all together that it was anything to worry about. I just didn't pay any attention. And so I sent it to him, and then he's like, I don't talk about conspiracy theories. And so then I told her, and then she just kind of withdrew and didn't really talk to me anymore. But it opened my eyes, though, to more information. Like, if I started seeing information about that, it would catch my eye, and I'd go in and start reading everything about it. If there was some kind of thing that was released about it, then I would go in and see it. And then I would try and show somebody else, but all of a sudden it would be deleted. And when it very first started happening, you don't know really what to think, but then you keep seeing certain ones, you keep seeing the information, and it keeps getting confirmed by all these different sources. But there was quite a few different things I've seen where pilots and stuff, and there's been farmers that have taken the stuff in, whatever is coming down after they do those trails and stuff, then they will take in their plants and have them checked, and for minerals, biology, whatever, all that stuff. And they found heavy metals, they found all sorts of stuff on them. And that's the same thing that some of these pilots, but they get in, it's a big deal. They're not supposed to say anything. And when someone does a whistleblowing and stuff, I don't know if they disappear or what happens, but that when they come out and they've said that it's chemicals and metals, and they give these breakdowns, and then these, on the shows where I've seen it, and then the scientist goes in and breaks down all of the compounds and then says what it does to your body. And anyways, there's a lot of stuff you can talk about with all of this things that go on all the time. And then anytime you look into something, or you want to understand it more, or you hear different things from different people, and if I start hearing something just like that, I'll start looking into it, like, well, what's up with this? Why didn't I notice that they were having all these lines up in the sky? I knew it wasn't the stuff that was coming out of the exhaust. I knew it was different, but there's so many things. And then you start looking into it, and then all of a sudden you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. But I was already called a conspiracy theorist because, ever since I was a little kid, I was telling people there were aliens. People, oh, no, there's no aliens. Like, there's aliens. I knew. I could hear them. And I think this is where it gets kind of confusing to people. To me, this is, don't forget, this is my insights. This is my intuitions and insights. So I can say whatever I want. My idea is that ghosts, demon, all of the different things that aliens. I mean, those are just developed souls that can move through space and time differently than us. They like aren't controlled by matter. Like in 3-dimensional, we're controlled by matter. When we're outside of this body, we're not. We're not controlled by it, and we can move through. Like ghosts go through doors. I think that's the thing with why they can't ever catch Bigfoot. And I mean, he's not some, jungle creature. He's obviously an advanced creature. And there's enough evidence that there's such a thing as Bigfoot. But that always was, I was conspiracy theory. I was so happy when I moved up here. They had I paint. And so I was going to do all local festivals and stuff. I lost all of my shows this whole year. Everything shut down. All of my art that was going to be shown in all the restaurants and bars and all the places that they show them around here. Then I lost every single show this year. So frustrating. But, I mean, those people that was extra for me. Those people, that's their income. There was a thing that came in my emails the other day for local music, and they're trying to take it to court and stuff. I had to sign a petition because, they're all losing these businesses and losing live music. We're not going to lose live music. It's not happening. But anyways, so I would be considered a conspiracy theorist because I believe. So when I moved up here, and they had a big for the art. Then they had a Bigfoot festival, and so I went over to see about getting a booth in it, and talked to the people. I had to go into this Bigfoot center. There's Bigfoot right in the middle of town, and when I went in there, they have all these old pictures where people would catch photos, and it's in the county I live in. Bigfoot is protected. You're not allowed to shoot Bigfoot or anything. And there used to be so many sightings. People got pictures and stuff. So anyways, I was glad that I moved into an area where people at least knew about Bigfoot. I'm shocked at this day and age, there's still so many people who don't believe in aliens. It's just like, what a strange reality that they live in. I mean, it's so small. It's literally tiny. But anyways, my idea is that multi-dimensional beings, ghosts and everything, a ghost is a heavier, denser kind of energy than like what people consider angelic, that energy. But the thing is with all of this stuff, people want to have a picture in their mind. They can't understand energy in a vague way. Even when I took chemistry, because when I was a nurse and stuff, I had to take chemistry, I could not at all. It's a concept, and so, but how do you know? If you can't see it, how do you know there is 5 oxygen particles around this one? I mean, the stuff that they would sit there and tell you, and it's like, okay, you just got to believe it. That's what you just gotta trust it and believe it. That's how it works. That's what I would get. I don't know. That's what I would get told. But anyways, the everything is energy, and people want to put these like ideas, these storybook thoughts, like angels. There are these beings that just sit up at the foot of God, and they're, human looking, and they're mighty and powerful, but all loving, with this God who's willing to let people suffer, who just wants to be worshipped for eternity, who just keeps popping out more and more souls endlessly, but there's just not enough people to worship him yet. I was like, I don't know, that stuff, you don't think any of that sounds weird? Yeah. But anyways, the thing is that I see them all as like multidimensional beings, and it all has to do with their frequency, how high their energy is, what their purpose is. And we all have those same abilities and all that stuff, you know, and that's the whole incarnation game, is incarnating and learning so that you can keep expanding yourself. But anyway, so aliens and ghosts and all that, that's all real. And aliens, I mean, where people are like, whatever, 100,000 light years away, but they can get here in a matter of seconds, and they don't see, like, space and time is malleable. It's not, it's heavy and dense for us. It's not for everybody else. So anyways, I got my electricity went off. It was a loud explosion, and all of a sudden my electricity went off. And so I'm just sitting here in the dark. First, I went outside, and I saw it just stopped right at my house. This side of the neighborhood was dark, and the other, and that was the first time that had happened. So I don't know. This was different. Usually when it's a transformer, there's a big explosion, and then nobody has power. But this time it was a big explosion, but then all of us over here lost power. But anyway, so I was just sitting here in the dark and thinking. And so I want to share what I was thinking about.